We just entered 2024, new reading goals are being made, and look, we gotta do a little year recap. Let's be honest here, right? Hello beautiful people, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you guys are new here, my name is Gianna Lian, and today we are tier ranking every single book that I read in 2023. I decided that a fun way to do this would definitely be to tier rank them because I love ranking things, and hopefully you guys like these videos too. I made a tier ranking list. I used this website right here. It's like tiermaker.com or something like that. So I'll have mine linked down below if you guys want to do the same and use my template that I made. We're gonna go through this. A little recap. I did read 59 books in the year of 2023. I sadly did not meet my goal of 75 books, but this year we're gonna do it. Hopefully. Fingers crossed, we can only hope. But even though I didn't reach my goal, I still feel like I had an amazing reading year and I found so many new favorite books and some books that I know I will never ever pick up ever again, /DNFs. So we're gonna get into all that, but before we do, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already to join the family. We are on the road to getting a YouTube play button this year. It's happening. It's happening. Make sure you guys subscribe. I just pulled up the tier ranking list. I did actually find a way to order these. So everything is in order from when I read them from January to December. Here's my tier rank. I have 5 tiers that I made. Starting off with the first one, we have My Everything, which is like 6+ star reads. These are books that have changed my life that I will never ever forget about. Like, these are the top tier books of the year completely. Like, some of my new all-time favorites. Next we have So Close but Not Quite a 5-star. These are more like 4 stars or like 4.5. That's that range that there was just something about it that couldn't make it a 5-star. Or there are a few 5 stars, but they're not life-changing books that I want to remember forever, if that makes sense. Very few though. Next we have Average. Did I even read it? These are ones that are like, okay, I read it, but I'm never gonna think about it again. Or, oh, I read this, I don't really remember. It completely left my brain, if that makes sense. Next is Let's Not Talk About It. These are books that I just didn't like, or I got bored of, or I just never want to think about ever again. And then lastly is DNF, Never Again. These are obviously books that I did not finish, I hated, and I never ever want to even look at the book again. Those are all of our tiers. Now we're gonna go through every single book. Let's hope I'm not too indecisive here because there are a few in-betweens. The first book we have is There's Something About Mary by Cody Hall. Yes, in January I did start my year with a Christmas book. That's because I started it before Christmas and then I didn't finish it until like January 2nd. Let's just ignore that. This book was really good. I'm already gonna put this in So Close but Not Quite a 5-star because I really enjoyed this book. It is my favorite Christmas book I've read of all time. It just gave the Christmas aesthetic so perfectly. I just think about it all the time. Like, when I think about the Christmas season approaching, I think about this book and how much I loved it. Next is book's hard to talk about, guys. Tell Me Lies by Carola Levering. This is my everything, 6+ star read. I read this literally the second book of the year and it's still probably top 5 of my favorite books of all time. I fell in love with this from the first page. The characters and watching them grow, well, specifically one person grow, it just taught me so much, and I just fell in love with the characters to the point where I wanted to give Lucy a big hug. Like, she needed a big hug throughout that whole entire book. I'll never forget about this book. Still one of my favorites. Next we have Finley Donovan is Killing It by El Cosimano. This, another my everything, 6+ star read. This is the first book in the Finley Donovan series. Absolutely loved it. As you can see, I started off my year with some very good books. This book just made it for me. It was so funny. You're gonna fall in love with the characters. It has that cozy mystery vibes, but like still that mystery element that's done really well. Definitely a favorite for me, especially going into a series. This one just knocked out of the park. The Honeys by Ryan LaSala. This one's hard because it's kind of in the middle of 2 tiers right now in my brain, because if I'm thinking about it correctly, I'm pretty sure I didn't rate this bad. I think it was just an average 3 out of 5 stars. We'll put it in average. Did I even read it? Because I think the concept was super cool. It was super unique, but it wasn't for me and I just wasn't loving it. I felt like it just kept getting dragged on and I just wanted it to be kind of over. But the cover is gorgeous. The plot is so unique, so it will go in average. I'll settle with that. Next is The Do-Over by Lynn Painter. I actually read this literally on Valentine's Day and I did a whole reading vlog on it, and this book gave me all the cute feels, so this one's gonna go in So Close but Not Quite a 5-star because it's one of those books that you just read to enjoy. It's not very critical. It has the plot of Groundhog's Day, so it does get repetitive, but it's super short, so it doesn't feel like you're reading the same thing over and over again, if that makes sense. I feel like Lynn Painter kept it at a nice pace and kept it interesting, but Lynn Painter just knows how to do it. Oh, Addicted to You by Krista and Becca Ritchie. right here. No, you know what? It's going right all the way to the front, all the way to the front. This book has changed my life. This is my favorite book of 2023, and it has introduced me to a series that will never leave my brain. This whole series has become a part of me. It will never leave me. I cannot explain to you guys how much this series means to me. Just the characters I've completely fallen in love with. They've become my best friends. If you haven't read it, what are you doing? Pick it up right now, order it. I will order it for you. Read it right now. Just read it. Had to change my battery real quick, guys. Ooh, another really good one. I'm realizing now that January and February were probably some of the best reading months that I've had throughout the whole entire year. So we have a lot of favorites going on for the first few. Behind Closed Doors by bday Paris. My everything. I don't even know what genre it would be. Is it psychological thriller? Like, it is the best one I've ever read. This book has me speechless, obviously. Like, I can't even form words to explain to you guys how much I loved this book, because going into it, I thought I was gonna hate it or it was just gonna be average, but this book is one of those ones that changed my life as well. Watching the character fight for her life, it was so powerful and such a beautiful story in the end. Definitely a hard read, but if you can read it, you're not gonna regret it. My Heart and Other Black Holes by Jasmine Warga. This was a very anticipated read for me at the beginning of the year, and I was just super disappointed, so let's just not talk about it. I'm pretty sure I did rate this like a 2-star. It was not what I wanted it to be at all. I think it was the author's writing alongside just how she wrote the characters. I feel like they needed so much more depth with the topics that were being dealt with in the book. Like, if you're going to talk about such a hard topic, it needs a lot of explanation and a lot of details to back up that huge topic, if that makes sense. Like, if you've read the book, you know the character depth was the real thing that just brought the book completely down for me. This Is Where It Ends. I really liked this book. So close, but not quite a 5-star. Again, with the things that were talked about in this book, the author did it amazing. All the boxes were checked off. I didn't want anything more from the book. It was fast-paced, it told the story, and the author left me with a very important message. With a topic like this, I feel like that's what the book is trying to do, and the author did that perfectly. Really loved this book. Super sad, but loved it. Ricochet. This one's so close, but not quite a 5-star. It is the second one in the Addicted series, and don't get me wrong, I love every single book in this series, but this one just wasn't top tier like the first one was. I really love this book specifically because we got a lot of Lo's side and his recovery, because the first one I feel like focused really heavily on Lily, so I'm definitely happy that we got this book, but it wasn't top tier. I Want to Die But I Want to Eat Taboki. This one, let's not talk about it. This one again fell so flat for me. I read this in my reading sad books for a week video, and this was another anticipated 5-star for me. After I read it, I didn't like the whole thing. I just feel like the book was just a mess. Like, I don't know. I'm just gonna keep my thoughts to myself on that one because it is like a memoir and I feel terrible saying my opinions on it because it's her story. Twisted Love. So close, but not quite a 5-star. If I didn't read the other ones in the series, this would have been a 6-star, but if I have to narrow it down, this one just felt a little bit flat. I love Michael and Ava, but just their whole dynamic I loved, and the whole like build up of the story had me hooked. Like, this book I did not want to put it down, so really loved them, but not top tier. If He Had Been With Me, I'm gonna put it as average, and you guys can't get mad at me. I think this book is extremely overhyped in the book community because I feel like there was nothing happening until the last like 30-40 pages of it, and then it becomes worth it. I think it was just extremely slow, and I know the author did that on purpose, but in my opinion it just didn't need to be that long. But I mean, we're getting Finney's point of view in February, so hopefully the author will give us some explanations. Hopefully she will give us something, because I'm sitting over here so upset about the ending. Bright Burning Stars, let's not talk about it. This one is not a very known book, but I just had higher expectations reading it, and I know that's probably my fault, but I'd say the only thing I really enjoyed about it was the scenes where they were actually in dance class, because it kind of gave me that nostalgic feeling of back when I used to do dance. There was a nostalgic element there, but the plot wasn't there. It was just very all over the place. I don't even know what the plot was. Finishing the book, what did I read? All the Lies by St. Abbey. This is the 4th book in the Mindfuck series. This one's so close, but not quite a 5-star. I'm only saying that because I don't really remember specifically the events in this book because it wasn't that memorable to me. Then again, this is another love series by me, and I do remember absolutely loving it. And I immediately went to read Paint It All Red by St. Abbey, which is the last book in the series, and that is my everything 6+ stars. I've mentioned this a few times on my channel, but the way that that St. Abby has ended off the series couldn't have been better. She did an amazing job, and once again, I think about the series almost every single day. I cried at the end of this series because one, it was over, and two, I just was so in love with the end result. So 2024, that should be added to your list. Corrupt by Penelope Douglas. So close, but not quite a 5-star. This introduced me to the Devil's Night series, as it is the first one. Absolutely loved it, like so much. But after reading the second one, not quite a 5-star as this one. I loved the series. Michael and Erica, we're just gonna leave it at that. This book is extremely dark. Dark romance, but you're gonna eat it up. Finley Donovan knocks 'em dead. I wanna put it in so close, but not quite 5. Yeah. So close, but not quite a 5-star. This is where the series kind of took a little downturn for me, to be honest. It is the second one in the Finley Donovan series. Trust me, don't get me wrong, I still love the series so much, but after finishing the first book, the second one just didn't live up to it, which I was upset about, but it was still a really good book. Still gave me all the feels from the first one. Absolutely loved the characters still. I just felt like this one started getting repetitive. Go Ask Alice by Anonymous. I did read this in my This Video Ends When I Find a 5-Star, and at the time, I didn't give it a 5-star, but now it's definitely going into 5-star category, my everything. This book was so heartbreaking, but so beautiful at the same time. The book is set up by journal entries of a 14 or 15-year-old girl and everything she went through. And just reading about her story, I could never imagine going through something like that, or going through the things that she went through, all the drugs, all the abuse, literally everything. It just broke my heart, and I just felt for the character, and it honestly made me cry a little bit. This author also has other books in the same format of this one, but focusing on different people, so I definitely want to pick those up in the new year. Oh, Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. DNF. Never, ever again. I hated this book. This was my worst read of the year. I tried doing a book/movie comparison for this. I DNF'd the book straight out of like 60 pages, I think. I just couldn't. The writing, in my opinion, was too outdated. The characters were so uninteresting, and I know it has such a crazy plot and an interesting concept, but the book just didn't follow through with that from the synopsis. Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. Let's not talk about it. I genuinely don't really remember this book. I remember it being crazy and confusing and all over the place, and that's about it. There were random characters just being thrown into the plot out of nowhere. The plot was just jumping back and forth and all over the place, so I just couldn't do it. Plus the writing just wasn't for me. Twisted Games, my everything, 6+ star reads. Absolutely love this book. Reese and Bridget have my heart. They have become one of my favorite book couples of the year. Obviously not ahead of Lily and Lo. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here. They are definitely 3rd or 4th favorite. Their dynamic is everything to me. Like, a princess falls in love with her bodyguard, and now they're ruling the town together. You don't have to tell me anything more. You just have to read it. They are interconnected standalones, so in the Twisted series, you can read each one as a standalone, but I personally recommend you read it in order. How to Kill Men and Get Away with It. Let's not talk about it. This one just was so annoying to me. I think it was too modern because it does deal with like an Instagram influencer, and she basically goes around and kills men and laughs about it and then does it all over again. And she's just blowing up on Instagram, and no one knows that she's killing a bunch of men, and she does it for fun as like a side hobby. So yeah, that's basically the whole entire book. It's so repetitive. I just hated the characters. All of them were unlikable, and I didn't even find it funny. The book was trying to be funny, but it just didn't happen. Like, there was no funniness about it. The Devil Wears Black by LJ Shen. I loved this book, but we're gonna put it in so close but not quite a 5-star because I didn't absolutely love this book to the point where I was obsessed with it, but I loved it so much more than I thought I was going to, so that's why I think I hold it so high in my book standards, because the enemies to lovers trope that was done in this book was done perfectly. I feel like this was the first book that really gave me enemies to lovers properly, and I was like, oh wow, this author did a really good job because the banter is top notch. Definitely one of the best books I've read for banter. Killer content. Let's not talk about it. I hated this book as well. The plot went nowhere. The only thing I liked about it was that it was based in New York City, and because I really want to go there, I loved reading about the settings in New York. Other than that, couldn't tell you a single thing about it. I don't even remember how the book ended, and yeah, we're just not gonna talk about it. Set on You by Amy Lee. I really liked it. We're gonna put so close but not quite a 5-star. This was my first book by Amy Lee, and I really enjoyed it. I'm super excited to pick up more by her, specifically in this series, the influencer series. It was super cute. We have like gym romance, a super hot firefighter. She's a fitness influencer. We love it. I was here for it. It was super cute, but some miscommunication, which brought the rating down a little bit for me. Oh, Magnolia Parks. I'm gonna be nice because the more I think about this book, the more I don't hate it as much, but like I said, I don't know my thoughts on this book. I keep going back and forth, so we're gonna put it in average. Did I even read it? Because it honestly is just mind-boggling to me with my opinions on it. It's a toxic romance that basically goes nowhere. Miscommunication to the top. Like, I've never read a book with so much miscommunication in it, and obviously it's a toxic romance, so you know that's gonna happen, but it doesn't go anywhere. The book doesn't go anywhere, so I will never know what ends up happening because I will not be continuing the series. No one can make me continue the series or convince me because it's just not happening. It's not happening. Sorry to all the Magnolia Parks lovers out there. Survive the Night by Riley Sager. This one I'm putting in average. Did I even read it? It was my first Riley Sager book and he has become a favorite author of mine, but this one, I just didn't love it by him. I feel like he has so many other better books, so I just didn't love this one and I was super sad, but it was still good. Like, it was still had me hooked. I didn't guess the end because it's Riley Sager, let's be honest here, so it was just average. Flawless. My Everything, 6+ stars. I love this cowboy romance. This book introduced me to the cowboy aesthetic that I now dearly love, and I'm so excited to continue this series because I've only read the first one, but it was so cute. It gave me all the summer feels. Mr. Wrong Number by Lian Painter. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it was average. It fell flat. This was the first adult romance I read by Lian Painter and it just wasn't there. I feel like I had so much higher expectations because it is Lian Painter. It just didn't give me everything I wanted to. It was funny, it was cute, but it was super cringe. I didn't really love the couple. Can't lie. I didn't fall in love with them. I wasn't really rooting for them, if that makes sense. I'm pretty sure it also is brother's best friend, enemies to lovers. Fit to Die. This one's so close, but not quite a 5-star. And that is only because it was definitely different. Like, it was so unique and I loved reading about the plot of these deathly diet pills that are basically plaguing the internet and everyone is dying from them, and there's investigators trying to figure out everything and who's selling them, where are people getting them, like everything like that. The whole plot was super interesting and had me hooked the whole entire time, but I couldn't see myself giving it higher than like a 4.75, 4.5, if that makes sense. One Italian Summer. Let's not talk about it. This one was absolutely terrible. The only reason why I kept reading it and didn't DNF it was because I loved reading about the Amalfi Coast, and that was about it. There was nothing special about this book. It was that weird plot that I don't even know how to explain, that it's basically something that would never happen in real life. The main character went on vacation and now she sees her deceased mom. I don't know how to explain the book, but basically she's seeing her deceased mom 20 years in the past and now they're like best friends and like spending the vacation together. I just didn't understand, to be honest. I just was extremely confused. Love and Theft by Jocelyn Patton. This one, so close but not quite a 5-star, and I know it's not the best of me to be rating a memoir, but if I have to put it on a tier ranking scale, don't get me wrong, like I absolutely loved it, but it definitely wasn't my favorite. But then again, it was written beautifully. The lessons that were taught in this book were extremely valuable. Like, I learned so much hearing about Jocelyn Patton's story and I just want to give her a big hug. That's all I want because I feel like she deserves that and she needs one. Addicted for Now. My Everything. Okay. We had the first one that was blow my mind amazing. Second one, it was still really, really good, but not blow my mind. Third one, blew my mind again. I cannot get enough of Krista and Becca Ritchie's writing, you guys. Like, they just have me hooked. This one I specifically love because we got a lot more from the Calloway sisters in this because Lily and Lo, they really started coming around towards all the amazing characters. So this one was definitely top tier. Another favorite of the year. I just loved it. I just loved it. How to Honeymoon Alone. I'm gonna put this in not so close but not quite a 5-star because this was a random Kindle Unlimited read that I just picked up for like a quick summer read, but I loved it. It was based in Barbados. It's a super quick vacation read. It's pretty steamy. It was so cute. Strangers to Lovers. Love in Other Words. My Everything, 6+ stars. I understand the hype of this book now. Before I thought it was just gonna be extremely overhyped and I didn't want to pick it up, but let me tell you, I'm glad that I did. Childhood friends to lovers in the best way possible. Probably the best book of that trope that I've ever read. And that says a lot because I've read a lot of childhood friends to lovers. This Summer of Broken Rules, DNF, never again. This book, I could go on and on a whole tangent about what I didn't like about this book, but I will keep it short. And it was just extremely childish. The writing was absolutely horrendous in my opinion, and there was nothing going on. There's supposed to be a whole big game of assassin going on, but it just went nowhere. Like, I felt like it just went in circles the whole entire time. So I DNF'd this not even halfway through the book because I just could not stand it anymore. Scarborough, average. Did I even read it? I liked this book for learning about the things that the characters went through and just the whole area, because obviously Scarborough's pretty close to me. I do live in Ontario, so I was interested in that aspect, but then again, like, I don't remember much of it. We Were Liars, so close but not quite a 5-star. I love this. I know it is hit or miss for a lot of people, especially in the book community, but I really enjoyed it. It was so fast-paced. I think it's one of the perfect summer reads. I'm excited to pick up the second one in the series, Family of Liars. Hopefully I will get to that sooner rather than later, but yeah, all I can say is that I really enjoyed it. Beach read, let's not talk about it. I would want to put it in the DNF section, but I did push myself to read this and I regret it. This was probably my biggest regret of 2023 book-wise. It was just so terrible. I knew that I wasn't gonna like Emily Henry's writing and her books, but I decided to give her a try because it was a summer book and I wanted to read it on the beach. It was just it was just atrocious. I'm not a fan of Emily Henry's books, and I know everyone loves her books, or majority of people love her books, but I just couldn't do it and never want to ever think about this book ever again. Meet Me at the Lake by Carly Fortune. Average. Did I even read it? Again, I don't really remember this book. I think after reading it every summer after, this book just fell extremely flat. I know a lot of people in the book community have said this, but I just feel like it wasn't giving summer. It was giving summer, but not the perfect summer. It needed to be more, in my opinion. And it didn't feel like summer when I was reading it. I just felt like it was that weird in-between season. I don't know. This book just fell flat for me. Same Time Next Summer. Average. I don't really remember a lot about this book either. I feel like the characters are extremely weird and not necessarily likable. I think the whole concept of the book was just thrown all over the place. I feel like the author was just trying to throw in a bunch of different things for the book and it just didn't make sense altogether. But it's cute. Like, some things were super cute about it and it was a fast-paced summer read. So the half of it, I'm gonna put it in so close but not quite a 5-star because it was a 5-star read for me, but it's definitely not my everything. I grew up watching Madison Beer and like following her fame. I literally didn't know anything about her. I just watched her because she was famous and all this, but then going back and knowing all the things she went through and what it's kind of really like to be in the spotlight since that young of an age, I have so much respect for Madison Beer, and honestly, like, again, I just want to give her a big hug. And I mean, sometimes it is the price you have to pay to be famous, but at the same time, some of the things she went through, just, I don't wish it upon anyone. So this was a beautiful, beautiful story, and I'm so happy that she wrote it for the world to hear because she deserves for her story to be told. The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. My everything, 6+ stars. Absolutely loved this. Frida McFadden is also another one of my favorite authors. I just couldn't put this book down. I binged it in a day and a half, and I can't wait to continue the series for this. And when I thought that the book hit its climax, it was just halfway. Like, that was the halfway point. Then that's when it started getting even crazier. Highly recommend her book. Heartbones by Colleen Hoover. So close, but not quite a 5-star. This one surprised me a lot. I love Colleen Hoover as an author. Her books are super easy to read, and they're just refresher books in my opinion, but I like this a lot more than I thought I was going to. It was, in my opinion, one of the most perfect summer reads. It just gave all the feels. It was so cute. Loved the characters, loved the story. Just loved everything about it. So this one was so close to a 5-star. Evidence of the Affair by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Average. I don't really remember a lot of this. It is a short story. I think the concept was cool. It was written by just letters of people sending back and forth of two people. It was super cool, but I honestly don't think I've thought about it once since I finished it. Maybe in Another Life. Average. Did I even read it? I read this one on vacation, so I know I wasn't really 100% in the book the whole time because I would just pick it up and then put it down and then pick it up and put it down. I think the concept was super cool, and I think it definitely taught me some like lessons of like everything happens for a reason. I think that was the main lesson that was brought to me in this book. It was very average. I definitely love a lot of other Taylor Jenkins Reid's books more than this one. Hideaway. My everything. 6+ star reads. Banks is one of my all-time favorite characters ever. I absolutely love her. This whole story just was a whole next level. Corrupt was a little snippet of what was gonna happen in Hideaway. Like, oh, I cannot wait to read the third book in the series. I need to buy it ASAP. The Unhoneymooners. This one was cute. I liked it. So close, but not quite a 5-star. Once again, I love Christina Lauren. Wanted to pick up another one of their books, and this one didn't disappoint. I was reading this book on the beach in Mykonos, sipping a pina colada, enchilada. I was enjoying my time in the sun. I feel like that just made the book so much more perfect because I felt like I was literally in the book. It just was perfect. I loved the writing, loved the couple. They just don't disappoint. Finley Donovan jumps the gun. Let's not talk about it. See, this is where the series completely fell for me. This one just was extremely hard to push myself to get through. I obviously wanted to see what happened to Finley and Barrow in this one, but once again, it just keeps getting so repetitive and the same things just keep happening. I don't know. I don't really have too much to say on it. The only one left, my everything 6-star read. Riley Sager blows it out of the park every damn time. He is just insane. Like, when you think that you have it all figured out, you are completely wrong. I promise you. You're not gonna guess it. He threw one big plot twist in front of my face, and then when I thought it was over, he threw another one. And then another one just for fun at the very end. Like, he is absolutely insane. This one is my favorite Riley Sager book I've read so far. I highly recommend. Good Girl, Bad Blood. So close, but not quite a 5-star. I specifically love this series, but this one I loved so much more than the first one, and that's saying a lot because I'm pretty sure I did rate the first one like a 4.5 stars. I just think this series is so good. It's like the perfect YA thriller. You're gonna fall in love with this series. I'm so excited to read the last one and finish off the series and see what happens to my girl Pip. The Nanny by Lana Ferguson. Do I even have to explain myself, you guys? My everything 6+ stars. This is also another one of my favorite reads of 2023. I read it close to the end of the year. Literally perfection. Single dad trope. Super steamy. I hate reading about kids in books, but this one was an exception. I'm not gonna go on about it because I've literally talked about this book way too much, but 6+ stars for sure. The Girls at 17 Swan Street. So close to a 5-star, but not quite. This one was super hard to read because it's extremely relatable to me, but it was really good. But I can't see myself rating it anything higher than a 4.5. Like, that's where I think this book hits its peak. The fine print, my everything 6+ stars. Another series that I just impulsively started, and now I understand the hype and why you guys absolutely love this series because hello, workplace romance, super steamy, ecstasy. I'm gonna put it in, no. I'm gonna put it in so close, but not quite a 5-star. I love this. I did rate it a 5-star, but I don't think I could put it in my everything because I don't really want to think about this book again. Like, this book is the darkest book I've ever read in my entire life, and when I tell you guys that, you have to believe me. I don't even want to know the whole long line list of the trigger warnings for this book, but just trust me when I say I read a lot of dark books, and this one just doesn't even match any of the other ones. Like, I am genuinely traumatized after reading this book. Not a light read, guys. Not a light read. And lastly, we have some Christmas books because obviously I tried to finish my year off with them. First, we have If You Give a Grump a Christmas Wish List. I really enjoyed this. It's gonna go in so close, but not quite a 5-star because genuinely I did really enjoy this. It was a short story. Workplace romance as well. It was super cute though. I really liked the characters and their dynamics and their banter. Like, hello, banter was there. So super cute, short story for the Christmas season, especially if you just want to get in the Christmas spirit. I feel like this one is super good. And lastly, we have The Christmas Fix, which is also going to go in so close but not quite a 5-star. This is my first Lucy Score book that I've ever read, and I'm very excited to pick up more books by her. I really enjoyed this, but some things about it just weren't there for me, and I think that's why I couldn't give it higher than a 4-star. Yeah, I don't know. I really like the characters for the most part. There were some parts where I'm like, oh, this is so cringe, or oh, this is so bad. But other than that, it was a really good book, and I loved the small town in it, and just the whole renovation aspect of like Kat fixing up the town for Christmas and stuff. We officially have our tier ranked list of all the books I read in 2023. Wow. I feel like I had a pretty good reading year. I've only DNF'd 2 books, and majority of the books are in 4-star or 6-star plus. So I feel like I'm content with this year. I do wish I read a few more books because I have so many physical books on my TBR that I need to get through, but honestly, 2024, I'm super excited to go into the new year with my new reading goals. So that is my tier ranking list. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I love making tier ranking videos, so if you guys want more of these, let me know anything you want me to tier rank. Give me ideas. I would love to do them because this is so fun for me. That is where I'm gonna outro this. Let me know down below some of the books that you read in 2023. What were your favorites? What were your least favorites? Let me know a little bit about them. And while you're down there, also check out my Patreon to join the Patreon family. We have so much fun over there. You can join our book club over there and see all the behind the scenes as well that not everyone gets to see, so make sure you guys check that link. Other than that, I really hope you guys are having an amazing, wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Bye. From when I read, hello? Screen record, please. I think it was just, yeah, we're just gonna leave it at that.